Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of high school basketball with the Bethany Christian Bruins. Tonight from Buller Court in Goshen, Indiana, we are a minute and 43 seconds away from the junior varsity contest between the Bruins and the Wawasee Warriors. Good evening, everybody. Looking on from the Catbird seat high above the east end zone up in the mezzanine. My name is Tony Miller as we count down the moments toward the 8th ever meeting between these two schools that are separated by about probably 25 minutes not even in the same county. Wawasee in the extreme northeastern part of Kosciuszko County, Bethany here sort of in the middle or a little bit southeast of Elkhart County, but separated by the Fairfield School District. Let's put it that way, that little L-shaped thing that sticks into southeastern Elkhart County. The Bruins come into tonight's contest playing their first of 3 games in 4 nights. They are taking on Wawasee tonight, Elkhart Christian on Thursday. Then they go over to Hamlin to play Oregon Davis on Friday night. And that team comes in with a record of 6 wins and 4 losses this year. They are they've actually started the year 0-4 and picked up those last 6 wins in succession. Their 58-41 win over Prairie Heights on the Tuesday the 17th last week was their highest outpouring of the year in terms of offensive points scored. They have hit 40 points in a row in 5 consecutive fall games, and they scored 58 in that win over the Panther JV, which is their most in a JV contest since 2018 when they bludgeoned Lakeland Christian, putting up 61 points in 28 minutes. The clock running out here, and we will get ready for the starting lineups to take the floor. As the Bruins did play on Saturday, they went over to Hamilton High School, and due to the numbers in the Hamilton program, they only played 2 quarters, and Bethany won that game 19-13. Kane Dukes gets a start at 1 guard spot. Weston Hoffert, a 5'8 sophomore. Braden Miller, a 5'8 sophomore. Braden Pike, a 6'4 sophomore, and Weston DeLong, a 6'6 junior. Joe's employing the crowd to get up and make some noise for the JV starting lineups. There just aren't all that many people here at the moment. Jude Miller and Sawyer Beachy get the start in the backcourt for the Bruins. They're joined by Zane Parson, who's 5'8 and a freshman. We'll see Trey Caffey up front, a 5'10 freshman. And Aiden Falcone, the lone sophomore on the roster, a 6'2 sophomore, rounds out the starting lineup. And we will get this one underway at just a couple of minutes after 6 o'clock, 6:02 and 33 seconds according to my watch, as DeLong and Falcone step into the jump circle. We'll get this one underway. Ball is in the air, not a real high toss. It's won by the Warriors, and Bethany will get the alternating arrow on its next use. Wawasee in the traveling green uniforms, they've got the old gold numerals, and they're going from right to left on your streaming device as the pass goes underneath for the turnaround jumper from Braden Pike, who gets Wawasee on the board. The Warriors, there is no town called Wawasee, but there is a lake named Wawasee that you may have heard of. It's one of the larger inland lakes in the state of Indiana. I don't remember the exact ranking, but we were looking this up during soccer season. We got Wawasee and Culver Academy from the shores of Lake Maxinkuckee on the schedule next to each other. Here's Parson giving the ball to Beachy in the left side corner for the Bruins. This is Falcone driving from the left side wing. 2 dribbles later, he goes up with the right-handed layup from the left side and leaves it short. Rebound taken by Braden Miller, who's going to come into the forecourt for Wawasee. Pass goes over to what is the right side as they look at the goal, and the handoff goes from DeLong back to Kane Dukes. Underneath, layup good from the left side for Weston DeLong. He is in the book for the first time tonight, and Wawasee has a 4-0 lead with a minute and 10 seconds gone in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, again, 7 minutes on the clock for the varsity quarter, or the JV quarters, excuse me. They'll play 28 minutes in this game as the three-point shot from Beachy is up and good. That gets the Bruins onto the tally sheet tonight, and the margin here back within a point. Of course, worrying about the margin of the score when we've played a little more than 90 seconds, kind of superfluous, but when has being superfluous ever stopped me from talking about something before? Dukes misses the three-point try from the left side wing. It was strong off the back of the iron. Rebound taken by Falcone and handed to Beachy, who swerves around in the backcourt, now gives the ball to Caffey as they come into the left side corner. Falcone hands off to Parson, who drives baseline from the left side. Back to Falcone, who's going to skip it to Trey Caffey, right of the circle for three. Got it. Caffey with the triple, and the Bruins lead 6-4. 2 minutes gone, first quarter. Coming across the timeline for Wawasee is Weston Hoffer. Bounce pass comes back to the left slot. Braden Pike works to his left, hands the ball off, and they come top of the circle. Now underneath on the entry pass, Pike turns around and scores. He's got 4, which is 1/11 of his jersey number. And we have reached 6 by both conventional methods of field goals. Wawasee has 3 twos, and Bethany has 2 threes. Here's Caffey on the right side wing, giving the ball to Falcone, left slot. Now Parson on the wing, dribbling with the ball in his right hand, crosses over to his left and uses his body to shield the defender. Caffey between the circles, goes over to the right side, Falcone. Falcone back to Parson on the left side wing. Parson with the right hand passes to Beachy, right slot. Ball goes over toward the wing in front of the Wawasee bench as the Bruins work left to right on your streaming devices. They are in the white uniforms with blue numerals, Bruins written in block letters across the front. Here is Jude Miller giving the ball into the right side wing to Falcone. Back out to Miller. Now Caffey's going to go left baseline, runs into a defender. Parson out on the wing, gives the ball back to Beachy at the point as the Bruins reset. Caffey left slot with the basketball, 3:52 to go in the first quarter. Caffey works up top, throws it underneath to Beachy. The pass led him a little bit too far to the left, but Sawyer's able to recover and put the biscuit in the basket. Bethany with the lead again at 8-6, 3:38 to go, first quarter. Again, the Bruins have scored 5 games in a row of 40 points or more, at least when they're playing the full contest. That would be 10 points a quarter, and they are 80% of the way there with half the first quarter gone. Layup is good underneath as Weston DeLong gets the bucket to go. Wawasee has fed its big man, the 6-foot Pike, and the 6'6 DeLong with a reasonable amount of success. The Bruins only have one player at 6 foot or taller on the roster, and that's Falcone, who's 6'2", which isn't, huge. This appears to be a 30-second timeout called by the Bruins with 3:24 to go in the quarter, as we want to remind you that the Bruins are back in action on Thursday. A little bit less than 48 hours from now, they take on Elkhart Christian in a Hoosier Plains Conference showdown. The Bruin boys, in fact, could clinch a share of the conference crown with a win that night. Bethany's magic number is 2. They need to either win their remaining 2 games, have Lakeland Christian and Argus both pick up 2 losses, or some combination of the above to win the league outright. And Lakeland Christian and Argus do play each other on Friday, but since they're playing each other, only one of them can pick up their second loss. Here's Parson on the left side wing with the basketball. Caffey right side slot, fakes to his left. He's got Beachy coming out left of the circle, working toward the top of the key as we tick down toward the 3-minute mark of the first quarter. Caffey dumps the ball into the corner. Bounce pass comes underneath for Falcone, and it's knocked away and rolls free in the corner. Now the Warriors will come the other way with it and try to retake the lead that they had at 4-0, then 4-3. Pass goes underneath, and Falcone gets the interception. Out in front, Jude Miller runs up the right side of the floor. Stops on the wing, gives the ball to Parson, top of the circle. Zane thought about the 3 and picked up his foot, so he's called for a traveling violation in the process. And the ball will go over to the Warriors with 2:45 to go in the first quarter. And I'll tell you, eventually I'm going to remember to take that pregame graphic off the screen before we've played more than 4 minutes. Wawasee drives from the left side corner. The layup is up off the left side iron. Going back up with the rebound is Weston DeLong. The original shot came from Braden Miller. DeLong and Pike have all 10 of Westview's points tonight. 6 for DeLong and 4 for Pike, because they've been able to work the ball inside with a reasonable degree of success. 2:18 to go, first period. Driving the lane, here's Jude Miller, throws it out into the corner. Beachy's clapping his hands for the ball at the top of the circle. Instead, Parson goes up with the runner and misses from the right side. Rebound tapped out to Dukes. Wawasee comes up the floor through the palm of the Bruin paw at center. Here's a three-point try from right of the circle from Weston Hoffert. He misses. Ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say it stays with the Warriors as we get our first substitution of the game. Zach Reif into the game for Bethany. And Caffey will depart. Inbound pass comes to Hoffert, left side wing. He is defended out there by Miller, trying to take a sad song and make it better, and we're going to get a push-off called on Wawasee for the first foul of the game. DeLong picks up his first personal, team foul number 1. But we played 5 minutes and 6 seconds without some sort of infraction. I see that Wawasee did sub on the timeout earlier. Dallas Miller, number 24, came into the game. Braden Pike checked in there on the dead ball. So for Wawasee, I've also got Miller and Dukes on the floor, along with Dallas Miller, number 24, the other two men over in the corner, where it's hard to see at the moment as Falcone skips the ball back to Beachy. Before he even hits the ground, he gives the ball to Reif, who lowered his shoulder and tried to run into the defender, and in so doing, threw the ball away. Wawasee comes back the other direction, driving baseline is Dukes. This is Hoffert on the right side wing with the basketball, inside 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. Warriors 10, Bruins 8 from Buller Court in Goshen, Indiana. Entry pass hits Miller in the lane. He shoots over Falcone. It's way too strong off the backboard. Rebound goes to Sawyer Beachy, and the Bruins come up the floor. Beachy stops right side wing, gives the ball to Zane Parson. Parson takes one dribble to his right from down the meridian of the court. Beachy in the left side corner, dribbles toward the elbow, comes to a stop on the outside of the lane, gives the ball back to Zach Reif with 57 seconds to go. Here's Beachy between the circles, works to his right to Jude Miller. Miller dribbles once with the left hand, picks up the ball, goes down in the corner to Falcone. Falcone entry pass to Parson, middle of the lane. He's hit as he goes up for the shot. No whistle, but the bucket counts nevertheless. Parson now in the book for the first time tonight. Bruins have 10 points with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. That's right on pace for their usual 40. 33 seconds left as Wawasee comes the other way. Beachy went for the steal and couldn't get it. Wawasee gets the layup on that end as Dukes gets himself into the scoring column. 12-10, Wawasee and the Bruins have probably the final shot of the quarter. 20 seconds to go as Beachy works out in the center jump circle, gives the ball to Parson on the left side wing. Parson drives through the lane, loses the basketball, then steals it back. Now it's rolling around on the floor. Wawasee's going to get it, and they'll pick it up out of the wrestling match with 9 seconds to go. Driving baseline, there's a handoff and a traveling violation, and it'll be Bruin basketball with 3.9 seconds left in the first quarter. Going to be Reif to trigger the inbound. I think he's looking to throw it most of the way to half court. Falcone takes it to his own free throw line. Half court heave a couple seconds earlier than necessary. Sailed over the entire basket apparatus and just about hit the wall before the clock expired as the Bruins are outscored 12-10 in the first quarter. And it looks like this particular pen is about to be disposed of from my scoring arsenal because it's running out of ink. So, with the first quarter in the books, 7 minutes down, 21 to play, Bethany trails Wawasee by the count of 12-10 this evening here on BruinsVision. Of course, the girls have been with us all season long on BruinsVision as well. They just wrapped up their regular season in a loss to Fairfield last night. They will start sectional play on Friday, February 3rd, down at Fort Wayne Blackhawk. They take on the host Blackhawk Christian in the first of two games that night. Starts at 6 o'clock. And the Bruins would, of course, love to see you in Fort Wayne if you can make it. If they can't, streaming options for that game will be discussed at a later date. Coming out onto the floor to start the second quarter, the team's getting ready. The Bruins, I see Zach Reif out there, number 14, going over to take the inbound pass. Zane Parson also on the floor, along with Trey Caffey, along with Jude Miller, and Sawyer Beachy, number 10. Wawasee counters. Well, I see several Wawasee players out there because, believe it or not, they are playing 5-on-5. We'll reset them as we've got a minute when they've got the basketball. But Reif's out on the wing, giving it to Beachy here for the Bruins. Pass goes over to the right side wing. Jude Miller throws a post-entry pass. Ball comes back out to the wing. That's Caffey trying to get free. Gives the ball to Beachy at the top of the circle, working to the right. His entry pass finds Parson. Back out to Jude Miller, top of the circle. His three barely catches. Earns the rebound taken by Braden Miller for Wawasee. Now he's going to be fouled coming up the floor as the Bruins are called for their first infraction of the evening. Fouls on Parson, his first, team's first. Wawasee in the backcourt has number 20, Weston Hoffert, number 32, Braden Miller. I also see number 24, Dallas Miller, number 52, Weston DeLong, and number 44, Braden Pike on the floor. Wawasee again in the traveling green uniforms. They go from right to left on your streaming device. Bethany in the home whites going from left to right. Here's a three from the left side wing, swishing home for Weston Hoffert. His first points of the game as Wawasee extends its lead to 15-10. This is Parson going into the right side corner for the Bruins. Ball comes back out to Jude Miller, who works around some contact, and they're going to call him for the traveling violation because he may have gotten bumped in the air, but when he landed, he slid. As Aiden Falcone will check in for the Bruins. Bethany's just gone 6 deep so far tonight. Haven't seen Gideon Miller or Toby Mast yet, who are usually 7 and 8 in that rotation in some order or the other. I guess 7 and 8 there can only be 2 orders for. As here's Miller on a steal to run out the layup. Golden point for the Bruins as player number 12 scores point number 12. Bruins back within 3, 5:28 to go in the second quarter. Faking to his right and giving the basketball off is Weston Hoffert. Before he did that, though, we've got a whistle and a timeout taken by Chad Hoffert on the Wawasee bench. 5:24 to go, second quarter. We will see this is a 30-second timeout, yes. So we'll get the abbreviated version of the promo in here where Bethany takes on Elkhart Christian on Thursday night, January 26th, right here on Bowler Court. We'll have the JV pregame for you at 5:58. Tip-off at 6, varsity following about 7:15. All the action coming your way Thursday night here on BruinsVision. Coming out of the timeout, Wawasee basketball. Same 5 on the floor that started the quarter for the Warriors. The Bruins need to break their huddle here, and they are. So with Falcone on the floor, I believe, Caffey is out there, which means that Zach Reif departed. As Wawasee throws the ball across the top of the circle. They work down to the right side block, and a traveling violation called on Miller before he could unleash the basketball. Coming to the floor for Bethany, we've got Sawyer Beachy across the timeline. This is Caffey working down toward the left side corner. Trey backs the ball out, goes underneath to Beachy, who directs traffic with his left hand, holds the ball in his right. Now Miller stops top of the circle, gives the ball to Falcone on the wing. Aiden dribbles in his left, and there's a whistle underneath there. I think we're going to get the officials have to switch places so they can report the foul, as Weston DeLong called for a foul away from the play. Got his hands on the Bruin offensive player, and Wawasee will go back to the bench for Braden Miller. Miller will replace DeLong, who's got the only 2 Wawasee fouls in the game. As Caffey gets the ball left side corner off the pass from Parson. Here is Parson at the top of the circle, working to the right side wing as the ball goes into the circle to Caffey. Backs out to the right slot, fires a 3, and swishes it. Caffey's got 6 points, which I believe is tied for the lead among all scorers. Yes, that's the case. As DeLong also has 6 points for Wawasee, but he is likely down for most of the rest of the half in foul trouble. Offensive rebound off the air ball, saved by Hoffert out to Dukes, as Wawasee will get it back to the top of the circle. Kane Dukes works to his left. Pass comes underneath. The pass back out is deflected. Getting a hand on it is Miller. Picking it up is Caffey. And the Bruins have a fast break going. Falcone goes to the goal with the right hand again from the left side and leaves the layup short. 4:03 to go, second quarter. Tied at 15 as Wawasee comes back from right to left. Pass goes back out to Hoffert, who lobs it into Dukes in the left side wing. Now they skip it back to the right side wing. Braden Miller goes back top of the circle. Parson knocks the ball away. Crosses over the man. Has a 2-on-1 fast break going. Jude Miller goes up for the layup. Misses the shot, but he'll go to the free throw line. So we'll get the foul reported to the table here. It's called on Hoffert, his first, team's third. And Jude Miller will shoot some free throws. 5'7" freshman fires the right-handed shot that's off the back of the iron, too strong. Second free throw forthcoming. And Miller makes it. And the Bruins are going to go Miller for Miller here as Gideon Miller comes in off the bench to replace Jude. Gideon's first action of the night here. He is number 20 in the white uniforms, got the shooting sleeve on his right arm there. And it was kind of funny as he was running up to the table. Sort of looked like he was practicing his shot. What he was really indicating was he was going in for the shooter and they didn't have to stop the game between free throws. Over on the right side wing, three-point try here from Hoffert is off the front of the iron. Rebound comes to Falcone, who will give it to Beachy, who sets up the Bruins offense. Bethany by a point, 16-15, as they go to Miller right of the circle. This is Falcone going back to Trey Caffey. Pass goes into the corner, and the Bruins will try to make something out of not a whole lot at the moment. Caffey's between the circles. Now Falcone left side wing. They skip the ball back to Beachy over on the right wing next to the Boulder Court insignia. The pass from Falcone tried to whip it underneath as he looked for Caffey. Instead, he found Braden Miller, who goes the other way for Wawasee and lays it in. That is Miller's first bucket of the evening, and it puts Wawasee up by 1 at 17-16. Each team with two Millers, incidentally, on its roster. Dallas and Braden, number 24 and number 32, respectively, for Wawasee, in addition to Gideon and June, whom we've identified. As the pass goes through the hands of Falcone, Miller picks up the table scraps and goes to the free throw line, missing the layup, but the foul is called on Kane Dukes. It is his first, team foul number 4. Miller at the foul line for 2 shots. First one, front iron and in. Miller's first point of the night puts the Bruins level at 17. Second free throw on the way. Back iron off to the right, no good. A rebound grabbed by Braden Miller, number 32, as Wawasee tries to come into the forecourt. They'll go underneath, getting the ball to Pike, back out on the perimeter. This is Braden Miller at the top of the circle, over to the right side wing. Dukes gets the ball back to the left, and Braden Miller into the lane, bounce pass to Dukes, right side. 2:10 to go, first half, 17-17 score line. 3-point shot from the right side wing is up and too strong. Wawasee's got a height advantage out there, and they were able to knock the ball out into the corner for a rebound. Second 3-point opportunity of the trip rattles in for Kane Dukes, and Wawasee leads 20-17. Of course, the Bruins have also dialed long distance a couple of times. Not that anybody thinks about dialing long distance anymore. You're on 10-digit dialing on your cell phone, regardless of whether it's a local call or a long-distance call. Zane Parson thankfully cuts off that soliloquy with the turnover. Wawasee goes back the other way, misses the shot, and it's knocked out of bounds off of the Warriors. Braden Miller has to stop and tie his shoe behind the baseline, so we will get a halt called to play while we attend to our footwear. Zach Reif back into the game for the Bruins. I want to say that Wawasee made a sub there as well. 90 seconds to go in the second quarter. As Sawyer Beachy works over to his right with the basketball. This is Jude Miller on the left side wing. Miller comes to a stop between the circles. Parson over on the right side, lobs it underneath to Falcone. Led him a little bit too far. Falcone able to keep the ball in bounds but not save possession, which goes over to the Warriors with 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the second quarter. Driving down the left side of the lane here is Dukes. Pass comes out to the left side wing. We're going to get a foul, I think, on the floor before the shot. Maybe it's a traveling violation. Something, some sort on Wawasee before the shot, as it will give the ball back to the Bruins with 63 seconds left in the quarter. Neither team has their opponent anywhere near the bonus, as Miller gives the ball to Parson, who started running before he dribbled. And it'll be a fresh possession for Wawasee with 52.5 seconds remaining. Crossing the timeline here is Dukes. He goes over to the right side wing. Pass back to the top of the circle. Gets Braden Miller in the equation. Three-point try from the corner rattles home for Weston Hoffert. Wawasee with 3 threes in the second quarter, and their lead is a game-high 6. Bruins get the ball back to the other end with Beachy between the circles, over to Jude Miller on the left side wing. 25 seconds remaining in the second quarter. As the pass goes underneath, it's knocked out of bounds off Wawasee, and it will stay with the Bruins underneath the goal. 24.5 seconds to go. Shot clock would not have reset on that play, I say because I've been watching too much college basketball. Of course, there is no shot clock in high school to reset. Pass comes in over the top. It's picked off by Hoffert. He will bring the Warriors back into the forecourt with 21 seconds to go. Pass over into the corner leads to another three-point try, and that one swishes home. Dukes with a triple of his own, and Wawasee, after we were tied at 17, has gone on a 9-0 run here to open a 26-17 lead. Falcone fires a three, and it swishes home with 2 seconds to go in the second quarter. Of course, the clock doesn't stop on the made basket, so the quarter ends before Wawasee has a chance to inbound the basketball. So 4 threes aside, it is Wawasee 26, Bethany 20. Let's take a look at our unofficial halftime scoring. For the Bruins, Sawyer Beachy with 5 points. Jude Miller has 3. Zach Reif has not scored. Gideon Miller has a free throw. Zane Parson has 2. Trey Caffey with 6. Aiden Falcone with 3. For the Bruins, 10 points in each quarter. That's 10 and 10 for a total of 20. And we'll go ahead and mark out the second quarter so we don't accidentally put more points there. On the Wawasee side of the ledger, it was 12 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second, for a total of 26. We'll take a look at their unofficial halftime scoring here in a moment as well. Kane Dukes has 8 points. Weston Hoffert has 6. Dallas Miller hasn't scored. Braden Miller has 2. Braden Pike has 4. And Weston DeLong has 6. Remember when I said that Wawasee was doing a good job feeding the ball inside and getting to their big men? Well, Pike and DeLong scored the first 10 points of the game for Wawasee, and they haven't scored since. 12 in the first quarter, 14 in the second for the Warriors. 14 minutes down, 14 to go. It's Wawasee 26, Bethany 20. Jump circle for the Bruins. Hey, there we go. That's the mute button I was missing. Welcome back to BruinsVision, everybody. As I got that fixed right before Gary Chuck pointed out that our sound was muted. Had my microphone muted and unmuted, but we didn't have the entire audio switch turned on, as the layup is good from Aiden Falcone. So the basket counts, and the technological error is charged to operator ineptitude. 2 points for each team so far in the second half. Weston DeLong with 2 for Wawasee, and Aiden Falcone with 2 for the Bruins. Now, Caden Dukes at the top of the circle goes over for a three-point try that misses too strong from DeLong. Rebound tapped into the hands of Dukes, who lays it in. Caden Dukes gets into double figures now. He's got 10 points for Wawasee. That accounts for a third of their scoring, as their lead is back up to 8. Beachy has the ball across the timeline for the Bruins. This is Jude Miller over on the right side wing. Pass goes into the corner for Caffey, who bounce passes it underneath to Falcone. He's working against a larger defender in DeLong. Tries to skip the ball out of bounds, and the ball goes sailing off the back of the scorer's table. Which is... well, let me put it this way. I hope that wasn't where he was trying to pass it. Because, I don't know, Joe, the PA announcer up there, is not an eligible receiver. As the Wawasee entry pass to Pike is knocked out of bounds, it's going to stay with the Warriors with 4:46 to go, third quarter. Pass comes in, and the three-point try on the way from Duke sails over everything. Rebound kept alive by the Bruins, and Caffey's going to throw the pass out to Miller. Didn't lead him quite far enough, as Miller is fouled on his way up with the shot. He had to kind of wait for the ball, and so he was a little farther away from the goal when he went to lay it up than he intended to be. And Miller will go to the free throw line for the second time tonight, or the third time tonight if you're counting them individual free throws. The foul's called on Caden Dukes. It is his second, the team's first of the second half. First free throw from Miller is up and rolls in. He is now 2 for 3 at the stripe with 4 points, as Bethany gets back within 7 at 30-23. Second free throw on the way and good, as Wawasee gets a chance to come back with the inbound pass and work to the right side. Out at the top of the circle, that is Braden Miller with the basketball. He goes into the corner for Weston DeLong's three-point shot. If you're 6'6" and can hit from there consistently, that's called it being a human cheat code. And DeLong missed off the back of the iron. Caffey stops the right side elbow on the other side. His jump shot too strong. Run down by Pike over toward the corner on what is the left side as Wawasee comes back up the floor. 4:06 to go in the third period. Warriors by 6, 30-24. Dallas Miller in the free throw circle gets the ball back out to the top of the key, and Braden Miller. Now the skip pass comes to the left side wing, and DeLong, his three this time catches none of the rim. It's an air ball grabbed by Falcone. Out ahead to Jude Miller, who goes around the defender and lays in the shot. So Jude Miller's on a personal 4-0 run for the Bruins. Bethany gets back within 4 at 30-26, 3:38 to go in the third. As the lob comes over to the left side wing, that's DeLong back to the top of the key to Dukes. Three-point try, right side wing, catches front iron. Offensive rebound, Dukes also off front iron. Miller goes up with the shot, had it blocked by Caffey, and it's out of bounds. It's going to stay with Wawasee. Fresh possession for the Warriors with 3:27 to go in the third, and as we've got, I'm not exactly sure what happened down there, but we're going to get another inbound pass for Wawasee, and the ball comes in. We are out between the circles with Kane Dukes. Dukes gets the ball back, drives right wing, runs into Parson, over into the right side corner, now back out around the left side corner for Braden Pike. They skip it back to Dukes at the right side wing, now back to the left and Braden Miller. Dukes comes into the free throw circle. They'll back out and work it around as the Warriors seem content to play pass and catch at this point rather than actually making an effort at the basket. They took the ball out of bounds at 3:27, I said. That's been 43 seconds ago, and they're called for a traveling violation. Of course, those of you that remember that John Everingham played his high school basketball for Mike Sorrell at Goshen High School, where they were reasonably successful and reasonably deliberate back in the mid-1990s will not be surprised that Everingham's teams play a fairly slow-paced brand of basketball. This is Miller over in the corner, Jude Miller for the Bruins. Gideon Miller not on the floor at the moment. Parson runs down the lane, gives the ball to Miller in the corner. He runs into the free throw circle. Falcone on the right side, dribbles in his left hand. Ball comes back to Miller at the top of the, or to Beachy rather, at the top of the key. Left side wing, that's Trey Caffey with the basketball. His 6 points came from a couple of threes. Entry pass underneath was looking for Falcone, who was a step behind the ball, and a timeout is going to be taken by Lucas Keys on the Bruin bench. That's a full timeout with 2:08 to go in the third quarter. We will remind you that the Bruin boys are back in action on Thursday when they take on Elkhart Christian. It's their second of 3 games in 4 nights. They'll also take on Oregon Davis on the road over in Stark County on Friday evening. Both of those are 6 o'clock JV tip-offs with the varsity game following at about 7:30. And we'll have the home game here for you on Bruins Vision. The road game with Oregon Davis, I don't know if it'll be on Bobcat Vision or whatever they call their streaming offering, if there even is one, but it won't be on Bruins Vision. I'm not sure which huddle it is, but I can hear one of them through my headset as we get discussion of strategy on both of these benches, and the teams come on out and they'll try to get things going here. 2:08 to go in the third period, as the Warriors have led for the entire third quarter. It was a 9-point, it was 17-17 in the third quarter. Wawasee hit 3 threes, I think on 3 trips down the floor to go up 26-17. Then the Bruins drained a 3 on the last shot of the half and got back within 6. Now it's Warriors by 4, 30-26 as they skip the ball over to the right side wing. It's in the hands of Braden Miller, who goes back to the left side, and the ball ends up on the fourth row of the bleachers over the head of Kane Dukes. I mean, it went there on a bounce. It's not like it sailed over his head and landed in the fourth row of the bleachers. As the inbound pass for the Bruins comes from Zach Reif to Sawyer Beachy. Reif into the ball game, replacing, it looks like, Caffey. And it's going to be Reif on the left side wing, giving the ball to Parson with 1:42 to go third quarter. Falcone into the free throw circle, over to Beachy, who's going to come into the lane. Beachy puts up a shot from the right side. I hope for his sake that was altered by Braden Pike, because it was well short if it wasn't altered. As Falcone tries to cut in front of the pass. He does cut in front of the pass, he just doesn't get the steal. With 1:24 to go in the third quarter. Over on the left side wing, this is Pike with the basketball. He comes to the free throw circle. They reverse it back to Braden Miller. His jumper from the free throw line, off back iron and through. Braden Miller with his first points of the third quarter. That's a golden point for Wawasee, as point number 32 comes from player number 32. And the Warriors lead it by 6 at the minute mark. Over on the right side wing, that is Beachy with the basketball. Falcone goes into the corner for Jude Miller. Miller back out to Reif and Parson on the right side wing. Parson drives into the lane. Miller's got the ball back left side. Now Beachy in the corner with 42 seconds to go, and he's called for a travel. They're going to move the Wawasee inbounder over to the other side of the floor, closer to where the official is, and we will get maybe one more possession in the quarter from Wawasee, and then it's going to be Bruin basketball to start the fourth on the alternating era. There's Falcone stepping in front of the pass. He does get the steal that time. Pass goes over to Jude Miller, who lays it in, and they'll count the baskets as the defender tried to slide over in front of Miller, and I'm sure some folks on the Wawasee bench think that there should have been a charge called, but the reality is that we shouldn't be rewarding people for sliding in front of oncoming offensive players. In addition to not being great defense, it's also dangerous. Miller drains the free throw. He's got 10 points on the old-fashioned three-point play. Bruins within 3 at 32-29 with 21 seconds to go, third quarter. Coming across the timeline, this is Braden Miller with the basketball. He works back to his right, throws the ball into the corner, and turns it over. pass goes out of bounds, and the Bruins are going to put the ball in play as Caffey went over to the table and he didn't get there in time for the sub. So Beachy skips it to Jude Miller on the left side wing. Falcone takes the handoff, fires the three. Again, it's a little bit on the early side. He had a couple more seconds. Left that on the short side of the iron. And at the end of the third quarter, it's Wawasee 32, Bethany 29. Bruins outscore the Warriors 9-6 in the third stanza, but they still trail by 3. So with 7 minutes to go, it's Wawasee 32, Bethany 29, 21 minutes down, 7 to go. You're watching BruinsVision. Welcome back to Buller Court on the campus of Bethany Christian Schools in Goshen, Indiana. We are getting ready for tip-off. No, we're not getting ready for tip-off. We're getting ready for the fourth quarter. We're getting ready for this basketball game to continue via whatever means they use to put the ball in play. As Wawasee used some hot three-point shooting in the second quarter to pull in front. It'll be Bethany basketball, rather, as we start the fourth period. As we have had exactly one jump ball in each of the last two quarters. Bruins have Falcone and Beachy on the floor, along with Jude Miller, Zane Parson, and looks like Trey Caffey down in the post on the right side. Beachy backs the ball out on the left side wing here. He looks at Miller and gives it to Falcone. Falcone on the handoff to Jude Miller, top of the circle. Parson drives right baseline, runs into a double team, back out to Falcone. Falcone stops on the wing, gives the ball to Parson in the corner, drives, runs into a defender again, loses the basketball and gets it back. Gives the ball to Beachy, right side of the lane. His shot is up, high arcing and good. Beachy with 7 points, and he gets the Bruins back within 1. 32-31 with 6:23 to go in the fourth quarter. Again, 7-minute periods in the JV game. We did not set the clock to the wrong number to start. There's a deflection that leads to a steal. A twisting layup from Miller is good. Give the assist to Beachy. And the Bruins are back in front, 33-32. 6:07 to go, fourth quarter. Bruins leading a 3A opponent where most of the roster is sophomores and juniors, because Wawasee has traditionally at the bigger school level, you have a separate freshman team. Warriors cycle the ball around the perimeter fairly well. Offensive rebound for Dallas Miller of the Miss Kane Dukes 3 leads to a bucket. That's Miller's first points of the night. Wawasee leads by 1, 34-33. 5:41 to go, fourth quarter. It's a game again, not that it ever really wasn't. But, 1 point is literally the slimmest of margins. Parson drives from the right side wing. We're going to get a foul called on Miller, who thought he was doing a good job of giving quarter to Parson, but the official disagreed. And that'll be Wawasee's third foul of the second half. Falcone has the ball right side wing. His 3 hits the iron, goes straight up in the air. Rebound comes out to Pike and to Braden Miller, who ended up on the floor because he ran into his teammate. Wawasee comes back the other way. They are out on the right side wing with the basketball. Dukes goes over to the right side wing. They skip it back to DeLong. Here's Dukes at the top of the circle. DeLong intercepts a pass that was meant for his teammate Miller, and we are going to get a 3-second violation on Wawasee. All right. That's something you run into when you keep the ball for a long time, and you got to keep moving so you don't get caught refrying your own beans in the free throw lane. There is an entry pass from Parson that's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bruins at 4:54 in the fourth quarter. Bethany trailing by a point, 34-33. The varsity level, both of these teams averaging between 49 and 51 points a game. Warriors are just south of 50, Bruins just north of it. JV game is slightly shorter, but the JV players also tend to be slightly less offensively efficient than the varsity players. That's why they're on JV. Parson misses the layup. Wawasee gets the rebound, comes back into the other end of the floor. 3-point shots and air ball rebounded by Falcone. Up ahead to Caffey, who's going to stop on the right side wing. crosses over behind his back, gives the ball to Parson, who has to reach out and grab it with 4:30 to go. Caffey throws the entry pass to Falcone, who works underneath. Back out for a three from the left side corner that rattles out. Rebound taken by Pike. It was, for the record, Beachy missing the three-point shot as Miller brings the ball up the floor for Wawasee. It's a real slow 10 count, which might play into the Warriors' favor if they are trying to run down the clock. Also, Bethany has not committed a foul yet in the second half. DeLong misses a three-point shot off back iron. Rebound kept alive by Pike. Warriors have it out on the right side wing with 4 minutes to go, fourth quarter. They'll skip it back to the right side wing where the ball is in the hands of Dukes. Shot is up off back iron again, and again sailing in the air for the rebound is Pike. It's his second offensive rebound of this trip down the floor. Now a third offensive rebound for Wawasee. Ball's knocked out of bounds by Falcone. And with 3:44 to go in the fourth quarter, we're going to get a Bruin timeout. This one is a 30-second timeout, so Bethany is down to 2 fulls to go the rest of the way. And because it's our first time out of the fourth quarter, I am compelled to remind you that the Bruins are back in action Thursday night when they take on Elkhart Christian. As much fun as it might be to beat a Northern Lakes Conference school as it would be tonight, the Bruins are also, this is not a conference game for either team. It doesn't matter in quite the same way that a conference win does. And Thursday night will be. It's the Christian Collision, as one of our local sports writers once dubbed it. Elkhart Christian, looking to avoid its third loss already in the Hoosier Plains Conference, comes to town. They take on the Bruins with the JV game starting at 6. Varsity at about 7:15. We'll have the pregame for you at 5:58 here on BruinsVision. Off the rebound, it's Wawasee basketball. Ball goes into the corner, and Dukes brings it up high, where they'll try to get the offense set. Skips comes back to the right side wing to DeLong. Had the ball knocked away by Falcone, who gets the steal. Out in front, tries to lead Parson. He does lead Parson too far. Parson saves the ball back into Miller. Beachy looks at the three-point shot from the three-point range, and his feet got all happy on him. Traveling violation, gives the ball back to Wawasee with the clock stopped at 3:27 here in the fourth. One-point game as we come down on 200 seconds to go in regulation time. Miller runs Miller over into the corner. That was Jude Miller and Braden Miller, respectively. Now Caffey gets the deflection. DeLong double-teamed on the block, throws the ball back up high to Dukes, who loses the basketball, then misses the shot. Rebound, Sawyer Beachy up ahead to Zane Parson, charted to anticipate the contact, and left the layup on the short side. Wawasee gets the rebound. They are up a point with 2:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Pass comes over to the left side wing. Dukes throws it into the lane. They go underneath for Braden Pike, who gets the layup to go. That's his first bucket since the first quarter, and it puts the Warriors up 36-33, with 2:38 to go in regulation. Beachy goes over to the right side wing. That is Parson in the corner. Throws the entry pass to Falcone, who works on DeLong, who's got 6 inches on it. Skips the ball back to Caffey. Game-tying 3 on the way, and it's too strong. Rebound taken by DeLong with 2:22 left in the regulation. And here, a Wawasee bucket would be big, as it would get the score back to a 2-score margin. Timeout called by Wawasee with 2:18 to go. The full timeout taken by the Warriors is brought to you by the Avenue of the Saints, the US 218 highway that connects St. Louis, Missouri with St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm not sure why you needed to know that, but it came out of my mouth. Wawasee has a 3-point lead. They've got 3 timeouts to go, and the Bruins have 2. Wawasee's got the alternating arrow with 2:18 to go in the fourth quarter, and neither team is close to the bonus. Wawasee with 3 fouls to give. The Bruins have 6 fouls to give, by which I mean they do not have a second-half foul. So if Bethany wants to start fouling and sending Wawasee to the free throw line, we could be here a while. Teams will come back out onto the floor after the warning blast of the horn. At least that's when they're supposed to start coming back out on the floor. Looks like that, is not doing us a whole lot of good at the moment. I think I just heard Wawasee's huddle break. They're led onto the floor by Kane Dukes, number 14. Number 32 is Braden Miller. Number 44, Braden Pike. Number 24 is Dallas Miller. and number 52 is Weston DeLong. The Bruins have number 30, Caffey, number 10, Beachy, number 22, Parson, number 42, Falcone, and number 12, Jude Miller on the floor. Here's DeLong with the basketball. Parsons out and defending Kane at the top of the circle. Three-point try is an air ball, saved on the far side of the iron by Braden Pike. Over in the corner, it's going to be Parson fouling Miller. Parson gave the foul, which I think is just Bethany's second of the game, as it will... second on Parson for sure, and I don't have any other fouls in the Bruin column. Wawasee skips the ball over to the right side corner. Bruins are trying to force the action from Wawasee. There's Parson on the deflection. Sawyer Beachy gets the basketball, stays in along the sideline, has the ball knocked away from him, and gets it back in the corner. Caffey goes to Parson left of the circle. This is Sawyer Beachy right side wing. Minute 43 to go, fourth quarter. Bruins down by 3. Falcone right side wing 3 rattles home. Aiden Falcone has 8 points tonight. We are tied at 36 with 92 seconds to go in the fourth period. Bounce pass comes to Miller in the free throw circle. DeLong has it right side corner. We're going to go out and around the perimeter for Dukes on the left side wing. They skip it back to DeLong. His right side wing 3 is up and good. DeLong now in double figures. He's got 11 points. And back-to-back big man threes put the score right back where it started with Wawasee up 39-36. Beachy gives the ball to Parson right side wing. Here's Falcone in the free throw circle. Cuts back and goes down the left side. Beachy in the free throw lane. Handoff to Caffey. His runner is up, rattles around and falls with 58 seconds to go. There's a whistle, and we're going to get a timeout on the floor. Lucas Keys was about halfway to the bucket trying to call his team's penultimate timeout. We have 55 and 8/10 seconds remaining. It's got to be a full because that's all the Bruins have left, as Bethany is now down by a point. And let's see. Jude Miller's leading all scorers with 12 points for the Bruins. Falcone's got 8, Caffey's got 8, Beachy's got 7. Of course, neither team anywhere near the bonus to stop the clock that way. I mean, you could stop the clock, but it's just an inbound pass for your opponents. Wawasee with 3 timeouts left. Bethany's got 1. Alternating arrow favors the Warriors with 55 and 8/10 seconds remaining. This has been, it's a nice tight JV game, and hard to ask for anything less, especially when it's or hard to ask for anything more, I should say, especially when this is, the preliminary, the undercard of the 2 games, as we'll have a varsity game coming up about 20 minutes after this one finishes. Bruins need a stop, and they need one relatively quickly in order to maximize their chances at the other end. Ball comes in for Wawasee. They took it out at 55 and 8/10, so keep that in mind as you watch your 10 count. Coming across the timeline is Dukes. Bounce pass goes into Miller in the lane. This is DeLong left side wing. He skips it back to Dukes on the right side, double teamed. Dallas Miller goes down into the corner. Shot from Pike is up and rolls off the iron. Falcone has the rebound, and we're going to get white ball out of bounds off Wawasee with 38 and 1/10 seconds remaining. So Beachy brings the ball up the floor for the Bruins. Crosses diagonally through the center jump circle. 30 seconds to go, fourth quarter. Falcone had the ball on the left side wing, and his coach took a timeout. So while he had an uncontested drive to the basket from the left side, of course it was uncontested because the defenders heard the whistle. This will be Bethany's final timeout, which is a little interesting that they are saving it for there as opposed to if Wawasee gets the ball back or something. But it means the Bruins cannot call timeout anymore if we finish this game in regulation. Bruin basketball, any old score ties the game. That would be a free throw, the obvious lowest option. A field goal would give them the lead. A 3-point goal would give them the lead by 2. Any old field goal would also make it 6 consecutive JV games with 40 points or more for the Bruins. There's the warning blast of the horn. Wawasee has 3 timeouts remaining. They've got 3 fouls to give which would be relevant if Bethany were to, give up a steal and a run out for it to make it a 3-point game. The alternating arrow points to Wawasee. Warriors are back on the floor. The Bruins are not yet. There they go. Falcone comes out along with Jude Miller, Zane Parsons, Sawyer Beachy, and Trey Caffey. It'll be Miller to trigger it'll be Beachy to trigger the inbound from left of the goal. He looks at Parson in the corner. Zane dribbles in his left hand, comes back to the wing. Beachy left of the circle, 24 seconds to go. Beachy backs the ball out. Just need one shot so long as it's good. Here's Caffey in the left slot, dribbling in his right hand, down to 16 seconds left. Parson out at the top of the circle. Bruins are without a timeout if they discombobulate themselves on offense, and they don't look overly combobulated. Here is Beachy going into the right side corner. Falcone down along the block, skips the ball back out and turns it over. Bounce pass comes out, and Dietz will run out the clock. So the Bruins do not get a shot off their timeout with 29 and 6/10 seconds remaining. They do add another 9 points in the fourth quarter, but it is not enough as they give up 7 points in the fourth quarter and fall by the score of 39-38. We will take a look at our unofficial final scoring here for both teams, and then we'll wrap things up and get you set for the varsity contest. We'll start on the Wawasee side of the ledger because we can do that because they won. Kane Dukes finished with 10 points. Weston Hoffert had 6. Dallas Miller had 2. Braden Miller finished with 4. Braden Pike finishes with 6 points, and the team's leading scorer is Weston DeLong with 11. On the Bruins side of the ledger, Sawyer Beachy finishes with 7. Jude Miller leads all scorers with 12. Zach Reif didn't score. Gideon Miller made a free throw. Zane Parson finished with 2 points. Trey Caffey finished with 8. Aiden Falcone finishes with 8. For the Bruins, 10 in the first, 10 in the second, 9 in the third, 9 in the fourth. That's how you get to 38 points. Wawasee with 12 in the first, 14 in the second, 6 in the third, and 7 in the fourth. A total of 39. The sands of time have slipped through the hourglass, and you can pass in the songbooks on another Bethany Christian basketball game. Final score, Wawasee 39, Bethany 38, and that is the end of another BruinsVision telecast. If you're tuning in for the varsity game, we encourage you to remain on this page and switch over to the varsity stream coming up in about 15 minutes. Now for our entire BruinsVision crew, I'm Tony Miller, saying thanks for spending part of your evening with us. Until we meet again, good night, good luck, and don't